12 million documents, 29,000 offshore trusts and entities, and about 300 Indians are named in Pandora leaks. The leaks that promises to be one of the biggest leaks that the world has ever seen says that some of the biggest names from Sachin Tendulkar to Nirav Modi and from Anil Ambani to underworld Don Iqbal Mirchi were holding these offshore accounts in Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, and some of these other tax havens. So what does this mean for Indian investigators? What is set to happen to these Indians who are named in Pandora leaks? And whether it is legal or it is illegal to hold these offshore accounts? Or is there a gray area where Indians can hold these and create these companies and trusts in tax havens? I'm Sachin Dave, and I'll try and answer these questions. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists have found that some of the richest people in the world seem to have offshore accounts. Now, this is no surprise. It is the third leak in last 5 to 6 years. The first leak came in the form of Pandora Papers, which was followed by Paradise leaks, and now it is Pandora leaks. However, this is the biggest leak that has ever come in the limelight. These are basically, you could say, these are no man land as far as international taxes are concerned. In around 1980s and 90s, some of the underdeveloped countries realized that they do not have a real economy, or they do not have a very strong economy that can really boost their growth. Some of these countries decided, why not create a structure? Why not allow the global rich to open accounts over here? And they will not be taxing anything. So there will be no tax on the income as far as the money is being kept in these countries. The benefit for the tax havens, so to say, is that when these sort of companies and trusts are created in these jurisdictions, it tends to create certain amount of tourism and certain amount of economical boost, because these trusts will require certain individuals to manage, certain bankers to manage, certain legal entities will have to be set up. In most of these jurisdictions, the law requires that at least one of the citizens has to be on board, which means it also tends to create employment, at least on paper. As far as Indian tax laws are concerned, it is not illegal to create these structures. In fact, most rich people or most high net worth individuals in India tend to have these sort of structures. In fact, Indian regulators allow that around $250,000 or $250,000 can be sent outside India every year per person. So, say for example, if there is a family of 4, a rich Indian can send about 1 million every year outside India, and it's not illegal. Broadly, it can be divided into 4 buckets. The first bucket is the legal bucket, or which is above board. That is, some of the rich Indians, they only create these trusts for certain conveniences. Say for instance, some of the family members don't live in India. Some of them live outside India. So to facilitate them with certain financial independence, these trusts are created. The antecedents of these trusts have to be disclosed to the Indian tax authorities. The second type of trust that is being created is to save taxes. Some of the celebrities, say for instance, the Bollywood celebrities, some of the movies that they do internationally, they don't bring that money to India. They create these offshore trusts and companies where the money is directly sent. While this too is frowned upon, but may not be entirely illegal as far as the tax law is concerned. The celebrity just has to declare these and pay additional taxes and fines on these. The third the kind of tax havens that the Paradise leaks have shown are the ones that are created by the defaulters of bankruptcy or the promoters that went bankrupt, like Nirav Modi. Now, these trusts and companies have been created to ring fence the assets. In many cases, the investigators have found that these companies or these trusts were created in tax havens just before the loans were getting stressed. Now, these are in some way illegal, and the government and the tax department can go after these promoters. And the fourth, and probably the most clandestine of the trusts, is the one that is created by the terrorists and the underworld dons. These are the trusts where the money is being sent, or the money that is earned through illegal activities like terrorist financing, like drugs, kickbacks by politicians and other criminals, is being sent to these trusts and these companies. Now, this is absolutely illegal. After the Pandora leaks, the tax department is set to go after each and every individual who has been named in the leaks, from Jackie Shroff to Sachin Tendulkar to Meera Radia to Kiran Majumdar-Shaw and Anil Ambani. Why it is unfair to put each and every one of them on the same level? The first thing that the tax department is set to do is differentiate or put them in essentially 3 to 4 buckets. That is, whether these offshore trusts have been created merely as a tax planning, or was there an element of tax avoidance involved in that? If the taxes have been paid in India, then there is no fear from the income tax department. In cases where the taxes have not been paid in India, the tax department will slap penalties and interests on these individuals and families and ask them to cover up additional taxes in the coming years. However, in certain cases where some of the defaulters, people who have not been paying the banks, in that case, Enforcement Directorate might trigger Black Money Act or PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, against these individuals. Some of the sources tell Economic Times that in next 3 to 4 days, the income tax department is set to issue summons to some of these rich individuals. That is, the income tax department will tell these individuals to come up with information as far as these offshore accounts are concerned.